Hey guys, it's Ed from Ed's Mods again. Today we're going to be replacing the rotors on my INFINIITI G37s. These are the sport brakes, so if you don't have the sport version of the G37, then your calipers might look a little bit different, but the basics are the same. So we start by removing the wheels, and you want to loosen these up before you start lifting the car. So you can find your jack up point, which in my case is this here, as you can see. So you jack it up a bit, and then always remember to use jack stands for safety. So once you have your car up in the air, you can go ahead and remove your wheels. And then there are 3 bolts that you have to take off here from right behind the hub. So with that out of the way, you can move to the back of the caliper here, and you're going to release these 2 bolts here. You might need a breaker bar for this. Now the top bolt here, you want to leave that, just loosen it out, but leave it attached because you will need to have your calipers attached still. Next thing you're going to do is remove the 2 pins that are holding the calipers in place, and you can just press these out with a screwdriver and a hammer, and you might need to use pliers to pull them out the backside. Okay, so now your brake pads should be able to come out easily. Just remember to always loosen your brake fluid reservoir. Just loosen the cap so the calipers are able to push back fluid. Now you can go ahead and remove your caliper here, and always remember to support it. In my case, I'm going to use the floor jack to hold it in place, as you can see here on the left side of the screen. Next thing you're going to do is remove this bolt here. It's a smaller one, you can't get it wrong. It has a washer in it, so what you're going to do is remove the bolt and then take off the washer, and then use the same bolt to push out the rotors. This makes it really easy to pop it out because it's a tool that's already built into the car. To make it easy, as you can see here, it'll just pop out. Now your rotor is free to be removed. So my battery died, so I had to go charge my camera. So this is the other side of the car, but the process is exactly the same. At this point I sanded the hubs here and sprayed them with brake cleaner and wiped them down. Now as you can see here, the calipers are still attached to the hub, and that's just so it's not hanging or it's not being supported by a jack. Now with the hub all clean, I went ahead and I applied anti-seize to the hub. You don't have to put as much as I did, but it's your choice. This is just how I do it. Okay, so at this point I removed the caliper and it's being supported by the jack, and you can go ahead and reinstall the rotor. So this is where you put that bolt back in place, and make sure to attach the washer or the spacer that it has so you don't press out your rotors again. So this is just to keep it in place, and it just hides in between the wheel so it doesn't get in the way of anything. You don't have to torque this to any specific torque or anything, just put it back in place and make sure it's all tight. Next you're going to go ahead and reattach your calipers here, and make sure you attach both bolts and torque them down to spec. Then you can go ahead and put your brake pads back in place. Attach the 3 bolts that are holding this bracket in place. then go ahead and put your brake line back in place in here. Now you're ready to put your wheels back on. Make sure you torque everything to spec and you tighten everything up. Alright guys, so I try to make this video as short as possible because it's not really that complicated. There's just a few steps that you have to follow, but it's overall a very easy thing to do to your own car that you don't have to pay the dealership. I don't know how much they charge for this, but I'm sure it's not cheap. These are the OEM rotors that I'm putting back in the car. I actually got those from the dealership because they're not that expensive from the dealership, but I think for labor, if you were to do this there, then it might be more expensive than I wanted to pay. So, as always, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give me that thumbs up down there and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I can keep these coming. Let me know if you have any other suggestions of things you'd want to see. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And as always, thank you for watching.